candles that smell like her wedding day. Oh God. And I remember the look on the Queen's face in the cathedral. So if you want a fragrance, how do you come up with a fragrance that smells like the Omen?
All right, buckle up, because this one is peak Meghan Markle 3.0 chaos. We're talking about a reinvention, a rebrand, a new era, whatever label her PR machine wants to slap on it this week. But if we're being honest, it feels less like a powerful new chapter and more like a desperate attempt to stay relevant.
Meghan Markle's disastrous 3.0 reinvention sure ain't working, but her friends at Us Weekly are really going to try and make us believe that it is. She's their new cover star, believe it or not. From actress to royal entrepreneur. And they have posted on X, Meghan Markle is entering her next act, and it's very Hollywood. After making a splash at Paris Fashion Week and stepping back into the spotlight with her Netflix series, insiders and PR experts tell us the Duchess is redefining herself as a one-woman powerhouse. From her solo rebrand, a new high fashion image, to what it means for her marriage to Prince Harry, and whether this is her most authentic reinvention yet, go inside Meghan's bold next chapter. Samantha Markle, the sister of the one-woman powerhouse? For real? Like, how long is the mainstream media going to be shoveling this shit down our throats when we know everything she touches turns to crap?
Well, Dan, I don't think it's mainstream media. Let's remember. And if I remember correctly, I believe that Us Weekly is part of her paid PR. So she's not a cover star because she's not on every other cover. She's not on conservative covers. She's on the covers of those publications that have been paid under the hub of Sunshine Sachs and her other PR gurus. So this is self-promotion, in my opinion. She's not stepping back into the spotlight or the red carpet because she was never on it. And I don't think she can rebrand. What's this, like number 9? It's not a rebrand. It's grasping for straws, I think, at best, in my opinion. Because everything she's done, let's go back to Spotify. And we know what the Spotify executive said. It seems like everything she's done is met with resistance and abhorrence in the end. And how can you rebrand that? What, I heard she's thinking of coming out with candles. You and I talked about that, candles that smell like her wedding day. Oh God. And I remember the look on the Queen's face in the cathedral. So if you want a fragrance, how do you come up with a fragrance that smells like the Omen or that smells like, doom and gloom coming to the royal kingdom? In retrospect, it's been disastrous. How do you put that in a fragrance? Good God. Uh,
And the thing is, Sam, her past will not escape her.
right.
And I was taken by this fascinating exchange with the royal social media maverick Genevieve's and yourself on X this week. And
Mm.
she had posted, Sam, concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he is born. When asked by Oprah Winfrey if her son being too brown would be a problem, Meghan replied, "If that is the assumption you are making, that is a pretty safe one." The only conversations that took place was on highlighting to Harry the British press would probably make something about his child being mixed race and also wondering what their child would look like. That is not racism. Yet if you always see yourself as the victim, it's the perfect opportunity to one-up a couple you're in competition with. And Sam, you replied, and I found this really fascinating. You revealed, my dad, which of course is Meghan's dad, you share the same father, Thomas Markle, and Doria, that's Meghan's mum, not your mum, had the same conversation, according to my father. It's very natural because you
Well,
want to
yeah.
envisage a child in your life and your holidays. You wonder if I had a little curly hair, brown eyes, blue eyes, if he or she will look more like father or mother or other relatives, you envisage their future life with you, and you have to have an idea of what they look like to do that. Lol, people are so stupid. Skin color has a lot to do with what you look like, and it has nothing to do with being racist, folks. People need to get over it and stop pulling the race card to advance whatever their agendas are. And I thought that's so interesting, Sam, that Meghan's own father had the so-called racist conversation that Meghan accused Charles and Catherine of having.
Complete with a glossy U.S. weekly cover story, a Balenciaga front row photo op, and, reportedly, candles that smell like her wedding day. Yeah, that's a real sentence that came out of someone's mouth. Candles that smell like her wedding day. Let's unpack this mess, because this entire relaunch is like a crash course in how not to do celebrity PR.
Well, we all did. And I admit, I was curious too, because when there's a baby coming in the household, we were excited about it. You start imagining playing peekaboo around the corner and, carrying them around on your shoulders or eating blueberries in the kitchen. And you can't do that. You can't plan holidays and envision them in your lives without wondering what they look like. Their skin can't be colorless. You're wondering who this new person is in your family. It's very natural. And I think it's crazy that at any point, anybody, including my sister on Oprah, would make something so beautiful and normal an issue. And it started a racial firestorm that was dangerous, that was unnecessary. It took something really normal. And I think it was used to spin a narrative to create social division, to deflect from a lot of things, and to attack the royals. I applaud the royals for being normal and wondering what this child would look like. So shame on Harry and Meghan for desecrating that beautiful normal thing. Really, it was weird.
And Sam, would Meghan have been aware? I mean, I know obviously not before she was born for very obvious reasons, but later in life, as she grew up, would she have been aware that those types of conversations would have taken place? Within the Markle family, I mean.
No, I mean, things were so normal in the family. Los Angeles was very eclectic. There were never skin color conversations. Meghan's skin is as fair as mine, but even if it had been darker, we loved her. It wouldn't have changed anything. She fit in very well at school. At her school, the girls came from all walks of life, ethnicities, religions. A lot of diversity. So I think so many years later, to try and turn it into an issue was to facilitate some sort of agenda, in my opinion, because it was never an issue.
So, Sam, at the time, lots of people said that Meghan would refer to herself as being Caucasian anyway, right? When she started her acting career, for example. So did she ever even refer to herself? Do you see the point that I'm making?
I mean, it's my observation and opinion that she aligned more with being Caucasian, evidenced by not hanging out with ethnic sorority girls, Black sorority girls, not dating any Black men. I mean, it seemed as though that's where she saw herself. But a couple of times she did complain to me that when she went on castings, they would say, oh, you're not Black enough, or oh, you're not white enough. So, I mean, I don't really understand why she would say that, because I personally, if I were casting, I don't think she looks ethnic. In fact, a couple of people told my dad, at ABC, in his circles, I didn't know her mom was Black, because you can't tell. There are a lot of women who are fair-skinned, medium complected, who have dark hair. And so, especially in LA, you don't really think ethnicity. And from a casting perspective, I would cast her as Caucasian or Latino or, light-skinned African American. I think she could go anyway, and I think that was an advantage. So I never heard her complain about it until it until I saw the royal issues, the race card being
Yeah,
played.
and she even admitted herself, didn't she, in the
Right.
Netflix reality series? Oh well, it was actually only once I got into the royal family and started thinking about race that all of a sudden I realized that there's been so much racism against me. Okay, let's talk about this rebrand, Sam, because what is so sick is that her people are leaking to Us Weekly. This is all about going solo. Really grim, actually. So this is the headline. Inside Meghan Markle's very conscious solo rebrand and how Prince Harry feels about it. Exclusive. Meghan Markle made quite a splash at her very first Paris Fashion Week appearance in early October, looking chic in a silky white top with matching trousers and a dramatic cape. The Duchess of Sussex sat front row at Balenciaga's Spring-Summer 2026 runway show and mingled with members of the fashion elite. So, okay, we've got a bit of...
So, US Weekly dropped this glowing feature on Meghan Markle, claiming she's redefining herself as a one-woman powerhouse after her splashy return at Paris Fashion Week. The piece gushed about her solo rebrand, her new high fashion image, and her most authentic reinvention yet. Basically, it's the kind of fluff you'd expect when a publicist has been very busy emailing editors. And that's exactly what Samantha Markle, Meghan's estranged half-sister, called it out as paid PR. This whole saga is sad in a way.
A preamble showing these people are very much on side with Meghan. And an insider tells Us Weekly, and this will be an insider from Camp Meghan, because of course Camp Meghan is close to Dan Wakeford, the editor of Us Weekly. Meghan was excited for her Paris Fashion Week debut. She was looking forward to the moment. It's a big statement about where she's headed. I mean, this cringeworthiness of this though, Sam. Over on the girl boss front, she spoke at Fortune's Most Powerful Women's Summit, which of course was a total disaster, and she attended a vegan dinner party thrown by the buzzy British entrepreneur, Emma Grede. Meghan didn't just want to stay put in Montecito and now has more time to do other things, says a second insider. She wants to get out there, reach out to people, and work on her relationships. So this is interesting, isn't it, Sam? Because for a long time we were told she only wanted to be in Montecito. She wanted to be a hands-on mother. Didn't she, Sam? She wanted to make sure that she would be able to go home between all of her work commitments. Well, that's out the window as part of this rebrand.
Meghan could have built something real, a genuine platform, meaningful work, or even a modest Hollywood comeback. But instead, she keeps choosing spectacle over substance. The candles, the cover shoots, the Balenciaga appearances, it's all smoke and mirrors. Behind it is a woman trying desperately to prove she's still relevant, still influential, still powerful. But as Samantha Markle said so perfectly, she's not a powerhouse. She's not a dynasty. She's grasping for straws. And that's the most honest summary of Meghan Markle 3.0 you're going to get. Let me know your take on this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.